This is Ross Halfin. This is my diary of Iron Maiden on tour in South America. If there's bits missing or gaps or it jumps too much for you, this is probably due to alcohol-fueled memory loss. But anyway, it's meant to be fun, and I hope you like the pictures, and I hope it gives you some sense of where we are. January the 9th, Mexico City. We all wake up at the crack of dawn due to the fact we're all jet-lagged coming in from London. I look out and it's actually quite a nice day considering it's the middle of winter. Get the band to go out to the pyramids where I decide we should go and do a shoot. I try and come here every time I come to Mexico City. It's called the Sun and Moon Pyramid. It's 45 minutes drive from Mexico City. It's actually called Teotihuacan. This was taken at 5 p.m. in the afternoon, just as everyone had left, so you can get an idea of the size of the pyramid with the band there. Where they're standing is called the Altar of Death, where they used to do sacrifices. This is the band still on the Altar of Death, except I've zoomed in a bit so you can see a bit more of what it's like. I hope it gives you an idea of the vastness and the scale of the pyramid. I like these pictures of Steve because he's messing around and posing for me. They were taken on the way back to Mexico City where we'd stopped off to get a drink. He doesn't normally do this, and I like the fact he's not so stiff. This is a shot of Janick, Nicko and Steve holding a banner that had been thrown up during the show. It's of the band as Mexican Bandits, including Eddie as Pancho Villa. I took this after the show. There really should have been some pictures of the show to go with this, but as the band walked on stage it started to rain, and it rained solidly for 2.5 hours and became impossible to shoot the show. January the 13th, Buenos Aires. Go out for the day to shoot the band in a graveyard I've found. It's where Eva Peron is buried. The graves are the size of houses. I mean, bigger houses than even I live in. It's enormous. This photo I actually really like is of the band outside the hotel as a football team with a load of fans who were waiting to sign autographs. This is Steve backstage with his laminated all-access pass at Vélez Stadium. He was actually very nervous. He was just before he went on stage in front of 40,000 people. January the 14th, Santiago, Chile. Get up at 6 a.m, fly 45 minutes to Santiago. Amazing view of the Andes. The record company buys us dinner at the hotel. I have my picture taken next to a very intoxicated Nicko and Dave, who'd been trying to play golf at night. January the 15th, Santiago. Take Steve up first to the roof of the Sheraton. He's standing very still because he's got vertigo and is terrified of heights. In fact, I was as well. It was so high we were actually shaking with fear. The shot of Janick and Adrian, they're sitting on the edge of the stairwell waiting to stand up to do the picture on the roof. They actually didn't want to stand up until they had to because it was so high. The shot of Nicko I actually like because he's quite fearless. I think it's just a nice shot of him which looks a bit different. Take this picture of Adrian backstage at the show. He's holding an axe given to him by a fan who particularly bought it for him. No one seems to know why. I actually just like the shot because it's so simple. The band play in front of 50,000 people. The stage is so high that I can't actually see them from the audience. I have to go on stage and shoot out. January the 17th, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Get up early and go location hunting. Go up to Corcovado, the statue of Christ. Find a place called Martyrs Hill, which has a helipad and has amazing views of the whole of Rio. This is of the helipad at Martyrs Hill. This is Janick and Nicko who wanted to go up for a ride. I wouldn't go, it was too dangerous and I felt it was just too high as it was. This is quite funny really because the band are completely cooperative because they are so hungover. They'd been out the night before to a band dinner and everyone had got very drunk. It's amazing they stood there. I think they just stood there because they were so ill they couldn't move. This is of Dave Murray, who obviously doesn't trust me and he's checking I'm doing my job. This is of Bruce standing on the ledge at Martyrs Mound, thinking he is Jesus. Here are the band on Copacabana Beach. I hope this shot gives you an idea of A, how hot it was, and B, the size of the place, because the beach is absolutely enormous. The shirt Bruce is wearing was actually bought by his wife, and I talked him into wearing it. He doesn't normally. I just think he looks really good in it. It actually looks very cool. I just really like the photo. This is a not very happy Adrian and not happy Janick Gers getting burnt on Copacabana Beach. They would like me to finish this session very quickly, as the picture tells. Later on in the day, Steve and Janick go to a football match at Maracana Stadium. As I passionately hate football, I send my assistant Andrew with them. The two girls with them are actually topless and have been painted with body paint. January the 19th, Rio. Really, it should be January the 20th, as the band went on stage at Rock in Rio at 2 minutes past midnight. The stage isn't big, it's enormous. It's like being on some kind of giant launch pad looking down at hundreds of thousands of people. The crowd goes as far as the eye can see. There are so many people you can't see where it ends. I've tried to give a sense of the size and the spectacle and what it's like to be on stage with Iron Maiden. I hope some of the pictures do that, especially the ones when you're looking over the band's shoulder looking out. Enjoy them.
Breakfast served.
See that? Yeah, this is a review of last night's show. It particularly singles out Adrian Smith, dazzling guitar work, I think it says, and gigantic stage presence and words to that effect.
There's a comment on there that says that you're playing too fast.
Really? Bloke must have been asleep.
This man will never get a job with British Rail.
That's very true. I should actually.
But you're always too early, too fast.
Well, I'm never on time.
That's what I mean.
Chap behind me, Wally Grove, top security man.
Make sure the venues are okay, the barriers are safe, just generally taking care of the well-being of, the band and the crew when we're away from home, really.
Yeah, they want to come to the backstage area. Take them to the backstage area.
The fans, they know me pretty much well because having been with the band for so long, and the band's unique in as much as that, they'll sign autographs day and night, they'll stop the bus to sign autographs.
To ruin a perfectly good guitar.
I work with a lot of bands, but I have to say that Iron Maiden fans are by far the best fans there are because they're so loyal.
Maiden rules, have the irons,
like to think that we're all mates. We're all part of a family that work together, we hurt together. Time off is very precious to us because we spend a lot of time on the road and we spend a lot of time in boring hotels. The upside of it, see for yourself. It's fantastic.
What are you cool?
What we do is we try to go out and make people happy. People get frustrated with the bullshit in their lives, and bands like Maiden can go out and give people an escape, a release, and they can take it away with them, and they can relive the songs, the fantasies in their heads, and there's nothing wrong with that, and it's a great thing.
Best drummer. I don't know what that bloke's name's doing on there, but I'm very honoured. Really. Fantastic. It should have been Smooth.
Steve, what do you got?
Best bass player and best band ever.
Best band ever.
Ever, the best band ever.
What's that one down there?
Wow, what do you got, Dave?
I got the best guitarist.
Fantastic.
How can you all be the best guitarist?
I know.
How they get me best singer?
It's with a conspiracy.
See, I got changed real quick while your camera was over there, didn't I?
Go up on stage. Okay, thanks.
It's all going to be fantastic tonight.
Better be.
What was the most memorable part of the tour?
Well, hopefully this will be it.
These have been in for the whole tour. There we go. Oh, that was hard work. Double knot. Look at me.
Rock and roll.
Got the Lucky Socks tonight?
Yeah, I hope so.
Right. It's pretty fierce out there.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Certainly the biggest that we've headlined, without a doubt. So, a few little nerves before we get up there, I'm sure of that.
Singing eyebrows.
What's he up to?
Surprised he wasn't there when I was on the boat.
Here we go, the last one.
I'm using amber's powder. So it's a brighter flash, it's a louder audible bang. Not as much spark, but it gives a general same effect. It's just going to be louder. What?
Well, I'm the one in the bleeding firing zone in the box. I can't get away from
You'll
it.
be fine, you got an excess.
Oh,
Yeah, all the
it's
time.
the last gig.
Sorry to fuck your drummer.
I'm definitely home on one of these, mate.
Yeah.
Run to
In the pit now or afterwards?
I can wait a couple songs.
Okay, well that's all right. What's that? Is that chicken or ham? Oh, sorry. Oh.
No riots? It's there again. Hola. All right, fellas.
See you tomorrow.
Yep.
Great show. Great stuff.
What's the party? What's the
Right, boys and girls, listen here. It's getting about that time where I reckon we could have a food fight on our hands. Start off light and easy. Who's going to get it? What's next? Oh, I know, a piece of lime will do it. Oh, it missed.
I'll tell you what, this is the best job of rum I've ever had. Give me a half. Look at that hands. It's not that. That's a big one. Go, Adrian. Go that way. Alright, give it back.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Are there any children in the house? Any children here? Oops.
Go, baby!
This is true art.
Me voy a esperar y estoy en la terraza arriba. ¿Qué?
Hey, that was brilliant, wasn't it? Wasn't that fantastic? All with the hands.
Hello, Hal. I'm pleased to see you.
This is the budget we got for Iron Maiden now.
It's better than not having a plastic house.
Bought a second-hand microphone. Well, we needed it for a while. Rock and roll.
Dean made me do
Always
it.
tidy up after your mess. It's a mango. Don't like mangoes. We don't like mangoes! It's a mango. Land.
It's a bat, look.
Bat. A bat.
It's not some big butterfly.
Wow, I can't find it. There it is. There's a bat.
Oh, look at it here, Bruce.
I got it.
There's one landed.
Where?
There.
Bat.
It's a big butterfly.
Yes, this is what we require. Zapparoni. Look at that, eh? My home away from home. We drank the whole vineyard last night, I tell you.
Pathetic. It just shows you how what you need to do to go on tour.
Yeah,
You grow out of this years ago, and look at you.
I know.
The ups and downs have been in Iron Maiden.
Rock and roll.
Yes, indeed.
My name is Adrian Smith.
Today I'm mainly Dave Murray.
go, McBrain.
Bloody golf game I had in Buenos Aires the other day, and then today when this bloody director was down there, I was supposed to be driving in the car doing my bits, and Dave was in there, and I had to walk. That's 6 holes. Good morning, dear. Oh, actually, it's the afternoon, isn't it? It's Buenos dias. No. What is? Wait a minute. Buenas tardes.
Hey!
Aha! Because they got 3 different bits, don't they? They have the morning, Buenos dias, Buenas tardes, and Buenas noches.
See.
I wonder what happens after midnight. Does it go back to Buenos dias? I wonder if it's coming from the snow peaks of the Andes, you know, being it's the summertime, it'd be melting a bit.
Hello there. This is Iron Maiden. We're doing a recording, and there's something particularly amazing about this console. And all the knobs on the console go to 12. Actually, we wanted to get the loudest sound possible, so they all go to 12. We did try 13, but we blew the fucking shit right up. So they just go to 12.
When you do fencing training, it's finding the place.
My name is Marcus.
Hi, Marcus.
Yeah?
Oh, excellent. Thank you.
Okay, from Flamengo.
Flamengo Esgrima. Yeah, that's the name of the club, I guess.
Yes.
Excellent. This plugs into the end of the sword. So let me show you. I just put my jacket on here.
You like it too?
Oh, I can. Yeah, I don't have a.
You are left hand.
Left-handed, but flotte. Okay. Anything hits this, it's going to score. So anything hits this jacket, it's going to score. And the way that the hits get detected is I put a little crocodile clip onto the jacket. There. And then the whole shebang. This plugs into the sword. This plugs into this thing, which plugs into that thing, the scoring box in the middle. The other guy plugs into his side, and then we're both plugged in, and there you have it. And off we bash. And I hit him. Red light goes on. I score 1. When he hits me, green light goes on. Oh, it's pretty smelly in there. Yeah, there you go. Nice. All right.
How are we doing?
Oh, on that one.
¿Cuál es tu nombre?
Guilherme Gifone.
This guy's gonna run around like crazy. It's guaranteed. It makes for a bit more drama.
15? Yeah. Okay.
Hard work. The old fencing stuff.
Very good, very nice fencing. Very nice, doesn't stop. We never stop. You know?
10, 12 years ago when I used to do international stuff and you used to come back in and you'd be covered in these things. And you'd go through customs and they'd be looking at your arms going, uh-huh, yeah, what's he been doing, you know? Fencing is full of great characters because it's like an individual sport, and you're not going to get famous doing it. You're not going to get a whole bunch of money for doing it. You're not going to get all the things that other guys in like professional people in other sports, but you need to train just as hard. And it's great because it's a very pure sport. You know, that's what I think. Well, thank you, Flamengo, for a great match and a little fencing home from home. Anytime I'm in Rio.
Welcome to Bergen. It's a pleasure to meet you. Let's go to fly the simulator Boeing 747.
Very cool. Once you're on board, this gantry here comes up and we are not anymore in the real world. Okay. All right. This is not a 400, it's a 200 series.
Yes.
So normally, this is a flight engineer station here. My uncle was a flight engineer for BA for years, flew this type of airplane, so cool.
Now, say hello to our desk. Let's turn off this light.
Yep.
Okay, again. Okay.
It's alive.
Let's go. Okay, take off choice out. Originally right down there.
And gear down.
Gear down.
And whatever the next flap's 25.
Okay, no visual. Go around.
Think rate.
Okay.
Think rate.
Full power.
Think rate. 100.
Gear up, please. Just going to land back at Rio, then we'll set ourselves up for Kai Tak in Hong Kong.
Wind shear. Wind shear.
Okay.
360 heading.
Yep.
Okay, 360 heading. Then we're going to intercept the 145.
I did an ILS there and didn't see the ground, so we did a missed approach. And this is going to be a visual landing.
100. 50, 40, 30. Think rate.
Okay. Taking off, so the throttle's coming up. Set 150 on our command speed on the auto throttle. Engine stabilised. 15 degrees pitch up. 80 knots. Great. Gear up.
Mr. Bruce, how about a malfunction in your flight?
Give us an engine failure if you want. Oh, did I say that?
Engine failure.
Okay, left engine failure. Engine failure number 1, possibly. Confirm number 1. Shut down. That was an engine failure.
500. Think rate. Think rate. Glide slope. Glide slope. Glide slope.
Okay, very good.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Runway 13.
Flaps 30. Full flaps now.
Full flaps, thank you. Very good. Now not to land at Kai Tak.
If you want, we can make a sightseeing over New York too.
That's a good idea.
View 1.
Let's fly around New York a little bit. Empire State Building.
Terrain. Pull up.
See what I mean?
Think rate.
It's like wiring up the inside of your head to these. The middle of your head is talking to these through your eyes. That's what it feels like. And you're ignoring all the other sensations. So you have to manufacture the reality of what the airplane is doing from the instruments, because they tell you what's real. You have to believe them.
Iron Maiden tonight.
Guitarist breaks neck in fishing accident. It looks like a good spot though. But he's the expert. I try and get out whenever I can. It might mean an hour before a show somewhere, or maybe we have a day off somewhere, or I usually take my own stuff with me, you know. I even used to keep worms on the bus, but the rest of the band used to complain, so I had to stop doing that. What kind of fish?
Today,
Night.
Oh, I like that one. That one sounds good to me. The best fishing I've had, actually some of the best fishing is in the States. Oh, here you go. All right. When I'm fishing, I tend to think just about fishing. Someone said it's kind of like meditation, you know. I think that's why it's so relaxing, because you get so absorbed in it. You kind of forget about everything else. I think that's the great thing about it. So no, I don't think about music when I'm fishing. I think when I was about 15 years old, I heard Deep Purple for the first time, and an English band called Free. So that was probably my, what, you know, turned me on to playing music, was those bands really. I kind of gave up fishing when I got into music when I was about 15. And I probably didn't go for about 10 years. I didn't fish, I was just obsessed with music, you know. As I got into music as more of a career, I got into fishing more. Just kind of balance out the craziness of the road and that kind of lifestyle. Oh, he's got a bite. The first instrument I had was, it was what you call a Woolworths guitar. It was called a Top 20. It was a kind of a sickly red colour. The action was about this high. And I actually bought it off of Dave Murray. It cost me £5. And that was my pride and joy for about 5 years. I learned to play on that. We actually grew up a few streets away from each other in Clapton in London, and we kind of gravitated towards each other because we were the only guys in the area who had long hair and wore jeans. I'd heard that he played guitar, and he'd actually been playing a couple of years. And when I heard him play, I thought, that's amazing, because Dave, he was pretty competent even after a couple of years, and so he actually taught me my first couple of chords, and I think I kind of talked my way into his band by saying that I'll be the singer. I'd never sung at that point, but I thought it'd be a good way of getting in with Dave and his buddies to be in the band, because I actually possessed a microphone. If you see me disappearing over the rock, you know I've got one. But what people don't realise is fishing's kind of, it's relaxing, but at the same time it's an incredible adrenaline rush as well. At the end of a day's fishing, I'm like exhausted. You know, I find it exciting. A lot of people don't understand it, of course. The rest of the band think I'm totally crazy. I quite like to hang around after a show and have a couple of drinks, and I'm much more relaxed than I am before a show. I like to unwind, but if you play in these big outdoor shows, if you don't leave straight after the show, you can't get out of there for 2 hours. So what you end up doing is what you call a runner. You get in the bus right after the show, you come off stage, you get in the bus, you go flying out of the show. 10 minutes after you get off stage, you're sitting on your own in a hotel room, watching the late night news. It's kind of bizarre. Come on, fish. A lot of times after a show, you just feel so great. You just want to, you feel like you want to go to a party. If you did that every night, you'd be dead in a couple of months, you know. So you gotta chill out, you know. It's like it's a job.
We'll be up at 6:15 in the fucking morning.
This guy over here is caught too, so I want to fish where he's fishing. The band has always kind of stayed close to the fans. I mean, the music hasn't changed. I mean, there's been a bit of a slight diversity on each album, but in essence, I don't think the band's changed. And I think that's probably why we're still touring and we're still going after 20 odd years. I think there's probably been occasions where we could have taken another route and sold a lot more records in the short term, but I think we wouldn't be around today if we'd have done that, and that's pretty rare. Having been out of the band for you know, a few years, I think I'll probably appreciate it more than I did when I was younger. The only thing about this is fishing's kind of the best in the morning, and that's where rock and roll and fishing does not mix, because I'm not a morning person. I've got a bite.
We're going to go for a coconut now. It's a thing to do when you're in Rio. Hey, it's crazy here. Get an actual brand new coconut, totally untampered with. Well, here we go. And always mind your fingers. Whoa, yeah. I'd like to have a go, but I don't think Rod would want me to be doing that just before the gig.
Thanks, Carla.
Thank you, you are the man. Okay, here we go. Oh, it's incredible. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. There you go, my friend. Thank you. Genuine Amazon masks. Say hello to the camera.
Hello.
Absolutely incredible. So what would you use these masks for if you were the Indian? What would you use them for?
The Indians in Brazil believe you take the mask to your house, the bad people no go into house.
So if you hold this up and you take it to your house, all the bad people leave.
This works for you, souvenir. This is my mother make. Okay?
Is that your mother?
Yeah.
Are you a mother? Yeah. You're far too young. You're far too young. She's so too young. She's too young to be your mum.
I like it very much.
Oh, hey, that's fantastic. Thank you very much. Yeah. Woo! Hang on. This will keep all those bad people. This will keep all the bad people like Nicko and McBrain away from me. He's a very talented man. That's fantastic. Great. Wally, you were amazing. I see this. This is made out of lolly sticks. Isn't it amazing what you can do with a lolly stick? Is that incredible? Are these real?
That's what you call a red piranha.
That's a piranha. Ooh. You don't want too many of them biting at you. Oh, wow. Look, they've got Nicko and McBrain. They've got actually a picture of Nicko and McBrain. Actually, I think it's a very good likeness. I don't know why Iron Maiden have an international fan base. I think it's because we play a lot of these countries, and we always have. And I think if you want a fan base in any country, you've got to go there and play it and show them that you care about them. I think there's a lot of reasons for Iron Maiden's longevity. I think the support of the fans has been incredible over the years. They've been very, very loyal. Not just in any particular area, but everywhere. I think South America, Europe, England, the UK, Scotland, Wales, everywhere. Even in America, we've had a very fanatical cult following. And perhaps that's got to do with a few things. It's got to do with, I think one of the things is that we never compromise too far from what we want to do. A lot of influences when I was a kid. I think the Beatles influenced everybody. John Lennon in particular influenced me a lot. And then Jimi Hendrix came along, and then you had bands like Free and Deep Purple, and Led Zeppelin came along, and people like Jeff Beck. They were playing guitar in a totally different way. It was almost, it was like going into space and heading off into something completely different. It just took my breath away. And that got me into music, listening to that stuff. And people sometimes try to criticize us because we sound, they'll say, oh, your albums sound very similar. Well, if you listen to each and every album, you'll find that every album is different. Although having said that, they have a thread running through them that is Iron Maiden, because it's the sound of Iron Maiden, the individuality of the band members. And whenever we play together, that will sound like Iron Maiden. We kind of tread different paths within the framework of the music we play. It's kind of like a tree with different branches. And that's the best way I can think of to explain it. But we never compromise, we stick to our guns, and I think one of the reasons the kids like us so much is because they know what they're going to get with Iron Maiden. We're not going to sell them out. We're not going to all of a sudden write a pop ditty that might sell 16 million albums just for the sake of it. We never do that. And when I was a kid, I did a lot of touring. And I think everything you take in, you regurgitate in some way. You take it in on that tour, and maybe perhaps 2 years later you think of those places and the things you've done.
and they come back out again in various ways. Yeah, we've got 3 guitars in the band, which gives us a lot of different options within the music, within the framework of the music, and it gives us the option to play live. A lot of the things that we put on album in the past, where sometimes you put 5 or 6 guitars on a studio album, and you have to pick which one you're going to actually play live. Well, in this situation, we've got 3 guitars that we can actually use live, and you can do octaves. One chord might be crashing, one chord might be staccato rhythm, one might be playing a melody. So you've got all these different textures within the band, and I think it's given the band a harder edge. It's given it more texture, and it feels, to me, it's worked fantastically well in the 2 with the 6-piece. And you know, we're going to do Rock in Rio tomorrow, so something must be going right.
We're on our way to a cup final, believe it or not. We're in Rio, where we're about to play the festival here, but we're actually going to see a cup final today. The 2 teams, Vasco da Gama, who are like a top team, big team, loads of money, whatever, against the 2nd division side called São Caetano. But the dilemma for me is that Vasco have Eddie as their mascot, but really, I suppose, being British and the traditional thing is to support the underdog, so I think I'll be just neutral. I've never actually been to a game in Brazil before, so this should be fantastic. This is definitely not work at all. Yeah, Maiden's got its own team, and we play loads of games when we're on tour. It's great to go on a day off and do something completely different. Yeah, we ain't got a bad team actually. Not a bad side. We've won most of our games, and it's great fun. It's just great. It's basically, the bass is the only instrument I've ever really played. Really, I mean, I started pretty late when I was like 17. Well, originally I wanted to play the drums, but I suppose I weren't crazy enough. You know, you have to be really crazy like Nicko to play the drums. First hooked up with people from school and stuff like that, who went to the same school as I did, just to kind of messing around, you know. And then I got a couple of other mates in who were friends of friends type of thing, and we formed a band and we did about 4 or 5 gigs with that. And I went and actually went and saw a couple of ads in the paper, and I went for a couple of auditions, and I joined a band that had been sort of going for a little while, and they're quite a lot older than me, so they were experienced, and that's what I wanted. I wanted some people who were experienced. I did quite a few gigs with them, but then they didn't really want me to write any material. I started writing some songs, and they didn't really want to do them, so I basically left and formed Maiden when I was tender age of 19. So about 4 or 5 years to get a record deal. Played every pub and club that there is to play around the UK pretty much. It was incredible, the success that we had really right from the first album. I mean, their first album went gold in Japan, and it meant that we were able to go and do a European tour with Kiss, playing to thousands and thousands of people. So that was an experience. And from then on, it just really took off. I don't know what my proudest moment is. I suppose in the early days, I suppose it was just, actually signing a record deal, and to think that we'd achieved that we could actually now go and make an album. Playing the Marquee for the first time as well and selling that out was proud, because we tried for ages to get a gig there. We couldn't get a gig.
when we finally did get a gig there, we completely sold it out within a couple of hours, and that was great. I think our fans are possibly the most loyal fans around. You know, I don't think there's many other bands that actually get the fan, you know, hardcore fan base that we have. Some of them know more about the bloody band than I do. I don't know any other fans really that I think come up to our fans. I think we're actually getting fairly close to the stadium now, so this is going to be really exciting. Everyone knows I love me football.
Things you've got to do to get ready for a game of golf. It's like
It's the official Iron Maiden golf bag. Eddie on the front, name and everything, and he also Eddie on the ball pocket. Boys and girls, our very own Eddie golf ball. Expensive, boys and girls. Worth it.
Haven't hit a golf ball for many months. Get ready for a laugh.
We're actually on the first tee.
But there ain't nothing like those double bogey blues, man. Actually, I haven't got a license for this.
That is fantastic.
What really kind of got me gearing up and wanted to play the guitar was I heard Voodoo Child, and it was Jimi Hendrix, and that was probably one of my, obviously one of my biggest influences. Just that pure expression and spontaneity and the way he just played, the showmanship, the everything, he had it. And after that, I got into people like B.B. King, Freddie King, Buddy Guy. So his majority was a lot of the blues stuff.
My influences was the Beatles and Ringo Starr. After that, the Stones came along, and I was really influenced by Charlie Watts' playing. Some of the jazz drummers, Joe Morello was really what sort of inspired me to play, but obviously I'm not a jazz drummer. But he really kicked me into wanting to be a drummer. And I guess my musical influences affected the way my outcome in my style of playing. And once The Who came out and I saw Keith Moon, that was me. I was like, that man is my hero. And you know, that influenced my style of playing to a great degree. And then of course John Bonham. So those four guys really moulded my shape of my style of playing, I feel. Get in that hole!
I've always been a hard hitter. I've always liked to hit hard, so rock was the natural kind of environment for me to slip into. It was actually progressive blues when I first started to really start slamming. Watch out.
The first guitar I ever had, it's about 14 years old, and it cost me probably equivalent to about probably $8. And it was kind of made out of balsa wood, and the action was about 2 inches high. And I kind of thrashed around with that for a little while, and after actually bleeding fingers and immense grooves into, you know, the tips of my fingers, I actually trashed it. And then after that, my mother actually paid for me to get a guitar which was Woolworths Top 20, and this was an electric one, and it was pretty much like a Stratocaster.
Drum kit my mum and dad bought me when I was for Christmas, 1963. A John Gray Broadway kit. There was a 3-piece drum kit, a little 20-inch bass drum, with a 12-inch tom by I think it was 8. Only one drum head, and a snare drum.
I was working with many various jobs, electrician, as a motor mechanic, I mean all sorts of stuff.
And then when we actually signed the record deal and became professional, it's funny because my father, the first thing he said to me, what are you going to do about your pension? And you collect your pension when you're 65 years old. So he was kind of thinking long term, you know, because the music thing can always be a bit unstable. But I think when you believe in something so much, I just was totally motivated and driven as soon as I started getting into music. So I think that's the thing you have to have in life. You've got to believe it, you just got to focus on it. And you kind of, you know, it's almost like tunnel vision sometimes. But once you focus in on something, I think you can achieve anything. And the main thing is always enjoying yourself and having fun.
Lovely roll, lovely roll, yay! I held down a number of different things. Then I settled into working at a bottle making factory that made glass containers and bottles. And they sent me to college once a week and 2 nights a week, and I did that for 4 years. And within the time I was doing that, I was still playing, and I had the passion to be a professional player. I was semi-pro really, you know, going playing pubs when I was 14, 15, and clubs and bar mitzvahs.
When you're on the road, you know, you spend a lot of time travelling in hotel rooms, so this actually gets you out of the hotel and out, and, you know, into beautiful nature.
Yeah, good. Oh, you're okay, you protect your head. Beauty. Nice half, buddy.
The fans, I mean, you couldn't do this without the fans. They're putting you where you are, so we've always maintained that kind of street level thing where we'll go out there, we'll sign autographs, even though there's 50 of them, we go out and 100 of them, we go out and sign them. And I think that's all part of it, you know, you have to kind of, they give you so much. I wouldn't change it at all. If there's anything I would change over the last, you know, 20 years, how long we've been together, I think it's just been, it's unfolded like a dream and it's been magic.
Here it is. Yeah! We were doing a tune called Flight of Icarus. And I used to count it in, it was like 1, 2, do, iggy bagger. Bruce used to go, scream for me. Scream for me, Brazil! Actually, this was the 3rd night at Hammersmith Odeon in a row. And he goes, scream for me, Hammersmith. Scream for me, Hammersmith. He usually do it 3 times. And before he got the 3rd one, I went, and started the song. Nobody started with me. All the guys came to the stage, you know, like round the front of the drum riser, looking at me like, oh, what have you done? And I can't just stop. So I thought, so I played the passage out. Da, da, da. So we all came, it was as though it was actually contrived, you know. So I got myself well out of the doody pot, I tell you, it was embarrassing.
Most embarrassing? It's been over the years, I think, bumping into Eddie a couple of times. You know, there was one time actually where he like swung his arm and actually cracked me right in the face, and so like blood, split lip and everything. That was kind of embarrassing. And there's one, and another time actually I jumped off the drum riser, and as I jumped down I felt this twinge and actually tore the ligaments in my right knee here. And so I had to go on stage and finish a tour with like about a dozen gigs with like a plaster with a cast on my leg. And because of the going up on the platform like this, I had to be carried on stage and carried off again. That was an embarrassing moment, you know. And I'll think of another one in a minute as we go.
All right. Oh, that looks good if it's got the leg. Nah, short, Dave. Straight down the spout though. Me and my bud. Maybe 5.
That's index 15, so you want it.
Mate.
It's going to roll a bit.
Where's my partner?
Actually, I'm completely lost. Let's take a right. Yeah.
Hardest song to play. It's difficult. They're all hard to play. They're all hard to play. Sign of the Cross is probably most, because there's quite a lot of changes in it. You've got to really. Probably that's one of the most difficult ones at the moment. Blood Brothers, because there's a lot of moods in terms of different types of feel within the songs.
Blood Brothers, I think, is a great song to play because there's so many different time changes. There's very heavy up-tempo things, there's clean melodic stuff. So I think that kind of represents a small picture of Iron Maiden. When you go on stage, you get the adrenaline going, and you go out there and play and just go for it.
Well, I'm just about tearing this hole up, ain't I?
I think that's the thing with Maiden, all the material is that everyone's stretched and actually everyone's pushing just to get that little bit more out of each other and play. So it can be challenging. But I think that's the thing about this band is you can actually creatively, you can actually express yourself great and really push yourself to a limit. And that's a good thing. I think there's a maturity and everyone can improve over the years, and I think that's touring. We played Run to the Hills the other night. We haven't played it for like 8 years, and we never rehearsed it. We just went on and done it, and it came out great. I think you never get tired of a song because we don't sound check in the first place. We just turn up. So although we know the set list and everything, there's a lot of spontaneous things that happen. You know, the sound changes a little bit every night. So they never get boring to play because you try and pull out, there's a different excitement, different audience. I say most of the times the fans they come to a show and they're real positive. In fact, that's the thing, you go on stage and play, and if there's any aggression in there or anything, it will actually be released. And I think that's the thing, they can actually go there singing along. So if there's any anger, you know, it's actually gone. And I think that's a good thing about this music. So it can be a release in that respect.
Beautiful drive. That is a great turn, Dave. We found the halfway house, which is most definitely exactly what we wanted and needed at the right time.
Yes, we need some replenishment.
I'm wondering whether we'll get the rest of the round in.
What round? What, the beer round or the golf round?
The beer round.
Who's
shout? Is it Rod's go, isn't it?
It is.
And then after that,
So it's my go.
After that, we're going to go to the show.
We are,
aren't we?
absolutely.
So we shall see you
later on.
later on. Adios, amigos.